Okay, this is my opinion, but one of the most fascinating things to think about is definitely death because everybody's going to experience death no matter how lucky they were in this life. Everybody's going to die, and some of them will die in terrifying ways. Most people will die in, painful and suffering ways, but I don't know. Thinking about death is really interesting because we won't be able to experience it when we're dead, but it's basically where we were before our parents forced us into this existence. And like, think about it this way: you're not gonna have a kid whoever's listening to this, right? So your kid will never even be created to even question anything and go through this repetitive, monotonous life, and they'll never have to fear their own death because they'll never be created in the first place. So you're really doing your kid a really great service to them. If you create a kid, you're doing them a disservice because they're gonna die one day. Like, what do some anti-natalists say, right? They say like you're creating a future corpse, and it's true. Every kid that's born, they're gonna fucking die one day. Parents just don't think about that, do they? Yeah, that's true. And I was on a live stream today and people were saying like parents are needy creatures who need kids, and that person was right. Parents are very needy, especially if they chose to create us. Not really if it was an accident, accidental pregnancy, but if they chose to have kids, they're fucking needy and selfish, man. They needed us a lot more than we needed them. So in a way, they're probably going to be sad if you cut off contact with them and they die alone, because they needed you. They were probably thinking like, who's going to take care of me when I'm older? Like all this fucking selfish bullshit. They didn't, they only thought about who's going to take care of me, and I want a little baby to boss around and look at and goo goo gaga. But they didn't even think about this child could die one day. No, 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 not could. This child will die one day, but this child could go through terrible things in life. But this child will die one day, and they might fear their death, and they might die young. They might die by killing themselves. You don't know. Parents didn't take that into consideration. So I'm just glad personally that I'm not going to create somebody else, another another guy to question his existence and fear his death one day. My son is unborn permanently. He's never going to take a physical shape in this stupid, pathetic human body on stupid planet Earth. He'll never be a part of this wage slaving society, having to compete for female attention or whatever. He'll never be created in the first place. He's going to be free of all of that suffering. Very jealous of him, to be honest. But obviously he's lucky. So yeah, I'm jealous of the unborn, but at the same time, it wasn't my choice to be born. If I had a choice, I would not have been forced into being. Definitely not. Because it's true, I kind of fear my own death. But I know that when I'm dead, I'm not going to experience anything. It's going to be like before I was created by my parents. I'll return to the same place, basically. And eventually I'm just going to end up worm food, in the ground. And then my body won't exist one day. And then boom, I'm totally erased from existence. And eventually people will forget about me. Yeah, everybody's going to be forgotten one day. Some sooner than others, but everybody will. And they'll all be fucking worm food, or they'll be cremated. And they'll be dead. They won't experience anything. They won't be alive. It is a little bit scary when you think about it that way. But life is more scary than death. You're not going to feel pain and suffering and fear in death. You can't be afraid in death. You can be afraid of dying, sure. But when you're dead, you won't care about anything. So death is actually beautiful. It's just kind of scary thinking about dying, I guess. But death itself, when you're dead, that's not scary. Dying is the scary part, I guess. Because your parents force you to be alive, be in this state of being alive in this body Your heart is constantly pumping blood to your organs, and everywhere it's going boom, boom, boom every second of the day. This living machine that you are, and it's pumping blood all the time, but eventually it's going to fail, and everything's going to fail, and the body's going to shut down, and that's kind of scary. But what's not scary is when it's over and just you're dead and you're unconscious, because it's gonna be like when you're asleep. When you're asleep, you're totally unaware of your surroundings. You're totally unaware of everything. You're unconscious. That's what death will be like. Obviously. Yeah, a lot of people are religious. I'm not religious at all. I don't believe in the afterlife or God or any of that stuff, So I don't have any of those illusions. If you're religious, nothing against you. But me personally, I don't believe in that. When I'm dead, and when everybody's dead, there's no afterlife. There's no nothing. my mum used to always say, like, you'll see your grandmother in the afterlife. No, I fucking won't. You're not going to see anybody. When you die, that's it. It's over. This is the only experience of life that you get. This pathetic world. What a joke, dude. I know, what a joke. I never asked for this experience, and you never asked for this experience at all, just to return to where we were in the first place. Yeah. So I look forward to being dead, I guess. I just want euthanasia personally, one day. And I made a video on my previous channel called I Wish I Had Euthanasia by My Side, because if I did have it by my side, I would be able to take life more fun, more seriously, I guess, because I know that I can go whenever I want, quickly and painlessly and peacefully, Exactly. But I don't have it by my side, so I'm trapped in this life, and yeah, it makes things worse, I guess. Mentally, mostly, it makes things worse. But it's true. If you had a way out of this life, you wouldn't be trapped, in this prison planet. And you could live your life to the fullest, because you can leave whenever you want. If you suffer some pain and you don't want to deal with it, you can go, you can go if you want to. But most people, if they suffer something in life, they just have to get through it, even if they want to die. There's nothing wrong with wanting to die, man. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that, because no one asked to be alive, Like, some people say, like, they call themselves like a failure for, like, not living up to, like, society's expectations in life. But I say, fuck that. Who cares what society thinks? And you never asked to be born in the first place. So fuck anybody else's expectations. The only expectations that matter of you are yourself. Your parents' expectations don't matter. Your families don't matter. Societies don't matter. It doesn't. Only your expectations of yourself should matter. Fuck everybody else. Everybody else. Because who are they to tell you how to live, Exactly. I heard it from this song once. I don't care what you think about me. Who the fuck you think you are? Exactly. Like, who cares what people think, man? As you get older in life, like, I'm 23 now, so I'm not old, but as you get older, you care less and less what people think, because you realize no one gives a shit about you anyways, So it's easy to not care what anybody else thinks and nobody else's expectations. Nobody else's, most people ain't shit anyways. Humans are pathetic, So why would I even care what anyone else thinks? But I'm kind of rambling. Basically, who cares what people think, because they're all gonna die one day too, Yeah, so yeah, your expectations of yourself are the only ones that matter. So don't be too hard on yourself. And if you want to do something, do it. If you don't want to do it, fine, People shouldn't be forcing each other to do things, especially forcing people into this life where they're eventually going to die. If you force somebody into this life, then you force them to do everything. If you don't force somebody into this life, you force them to do nothing. Exactly. People don't even like saying it that way. They don't even like saying that, like, you forced somebody into this life, but that's what you did. You couldn't ask for them to be born and then eventually die and end up a corpse, and who knows how many scars they'll get along the way in life, because life gives you scars and death doesn't. Life is abusive, but death is not. Death is fair to everybody, life is not. And nobody asks for life, but some people do ask for death. Not everybody, but some people want to die, you know, whether they're in chronic pain or mental trauma or PTSD, you know, and they deserve the right to die if they want to die. If nothing truly makes them happy, they deserve it, man. That's why euthanasia needs to be available, man. Like, what the fuck is going on with this world? Just the fact that euthanasia is not available in most places, where like if you was to talk this way to most people, they would lock you up in like a they would call the suicide hotline or whatever and fucking get people to put you in a fucking hospital or something. That shows you that this world is a fucking prison. They don't care about you. You could be totally mentally sane and just want to end your existence. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, for whatever reason. You know, you should be entitled to that. As long as you haven't hurt somebody, you know, but you should be entitled to that. And people will think you're insane for thinking that way. Like, why? Life is insane. What the fuck? No one asked for life. Like, people who are against euthanasia are the worst, man. They're the worst, in my opinion, dude. I should really watch more videos of that, like people that are against euthanasia. But obviously some people are, you know, and they're fucking scum, dude. They want to keep you trapped in this life. And why is your life any of their fucking business, you know? It's not. It's not. Euthanasia is just so important, dude. It would stop all these crimes happening, you know? It would stop a lot of suffering that doesn't need to be inflicted on others, you know, innocent people. It would. Because some people just want to end their life, you know? It's kind of, I've said this before, but it's kind of sad that I have to say, like, euthanasia should be available for people who want to end their existence, because we should be making existence better for people in this world. But do people do that? No, they don't do that. They only care about themselves, you know? They don't want to make your life better, unfortunately. So, I mean, we at least need euthanasia, you know? So, it's like I said in one of my shorts, man, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised all of this violent and crimes goes on in the world, man. Because humans are animals and we're all forced to against our consent by our stupid parents, our selfish parents, ignorant parents, needy parents. And, you know, some people aren't going to like this life. They aren't going to be happy with it. I'm not happy with it, but I don't take it out on others, you know. But I'm not happy with this shit. So I should have euthanasia by my side, you know. Am I mentally ill for thinking this way? No, I think I'm a rational, sane person, dude. I absolutely am a rational, sane person from what this life has put me through. And I'm not being a victim about it. I'm not saying boo-hoo, you know. But life is hard and people should be able to get out of here if they really want to, you know, because no one's really going to make their life better. If they truly want to just end it, you know, then they should have the option to do it peacefully. Exactly. Because someone's joy can be taken away in a moment in this world, you know? It's an evil world like that, man. It is. It is, man. Don't underestimate the evil in this world. There's a lot of bad people in this world. There's a lot of good people too, but like, you know, good people don't do anything about it. That's the problem, you know? They do nothing about the evil, so the evil just runs free. And it won't stop ever, so bringing a kid into this world is the ultimate sin. The sins of the father, you know? The sins of the mother, the sins of the parents. I was kind of rambling in this video, but yeah, it's about death, right? Mostly this video. The topic of this video is death. Yes. Death is gonna befall us all, man. Some of us more painful than others. Some of us will get a fast death, and hopefully a peaceful death at that. Not a fast, terrifying death, but a fast, peaceful death. And some of us will get a slow, agonizing death because life is suffering, you know? But we need euthanasia. Euthanasia can fucking bypass all of that bullshit. Exactly. Euthanasia is the fucking cheat code to death, man. If you want death, you know? I mean, I thought about it, you know? I've thought about getting euthanasia. If I had it, I might have taken it by now, you know? I'll be honest with you. You know, don't pity me, don't feel sorry for me, but I might have taken it by now because life sucks, you know? And that would solve my problems. It would. And I never asked to be in this life in the first place. So like I said, I'm definitely a rational, sane person for thinking this way. But if you told most people that you're thinking or feeling this way, they would say you need to get help, you know? When you don't need help, this world is a fucked up place, man, you know? It is. So I hope someone can relate to this. I'm pretty sure you can. I hope so. I just hope that all of us get the euthanasia we deserve, and then we will get the peace we deserve, man, because life doesn't really give us much peace, does it? Life gives some people peace, but a lot of other people, they just get punished in this life for no reason. Exactly. It's all pointless and all random chance and all this bullshit. Some people just get a lot of punishment and suffering in this life for no reason, and some people just get lucky and they get a lot of peace and pleasure, you know? It's not like they deserved it. Maybe they worked hard for that pleasure, but a lot of times it's just luck, you know? Or it's just random. It doesn't really matter. That's the thing, man. It doesn't even fucking matter. All this meaningless suffering in this world, it don't fucking matter. It just wants to drag you down, whether it's human beings or fucking a disease or nature or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is just keeping yourself happy, I guess, you know? Taking care of yourself. That's what really matters. Not all the meaningless suffering. The good pleasures in life, though some of them are short term, they matter, you know, because they make you smile, you know? They make you happy. That's what really matters in this life. Not fucking people that want to make your life hell. That doesn't matter, you know? Because we're already in hell anyways. We don't need to make hell any more worse. It's already pretty bad. So yeah, death is gonna treat us all fairly, man. Death is gonna liberate us from this body, this corpse that our parents imprisoned us in since we were born. We'll be liberated from it, you know, long after they're dead, most likely. There'll be a corpse by the time that we fucking kick the bucket, you know? Exactly. We'll see them being a corpse. Or maybe not a corpse, but we'll probably see them die, you know? I don't know, man. I mean, I saw my grandfather like a couple days before he died of lung cancer, right? This is when I was like maybe 11 or 12, so I was kind of crying when it happened, you know? But it was so short. I saw him for like maybe 2 minutes, so I don't remember it. But he was obviously pretty skinny, you know? That's the closest that I've ever seen someone to dying. So I'm sure I'll see somebody else, you know, whether it's a parent or somebody else, you know, who's dying from like a disease or some shit. See, me personally, I don't want to put up with fucking lung cancer. I mean, he was in his 70s when he had that. Like, I think he was 75. But I wouldn't want to deal with that. Why would you want to go through that? I would want to get euthanasia. Exactly. And here's another thing as well. If you've listened this far into the video, let me tell you this as well. Like, my dad brought him a bunch of health stuff, right, to try and get better from the lung cancer. And when my grandpa saw it, he said, no, 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 I don't want it, you know? Like, he was just ready to die. I don't know what it was, man. But my dad bought him all this like juices and stuff, but he didn't want it. He just said, no, no, no. It was very weird. I don't know. Like, he didn't want to fight it, you know? And my grandmother said, like, he's not a fighter. I don't know, man. Has anyone else ever experienced anything like that? I don't know, man. But he just said, no, 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 I don't want it. He didn't want any of it, you know? He didn't want to fight the cancer, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't know my grandfather too well because I was young, you know? I was a kid. I don't know. I'm just putting this out there because, you know, death is going to befall us all. So the best thing we can do is when we're dying to not reproduce anyone else that's going to be sad when we die, or just they could be happy when you die as well. Your kids might not fucking like you. There's no guarantee your kids will fucking like you. They might be fucking having a party when you die, on top of your grave. You don't know. Or they just might not give a shit. Parents fall out with kids all the time, man, whether they're anti-natalist or not. Exactly, for many reasons they do. Or the parents fucking don't want anything to do with the kid, which is even worse. Obviously, that's a million times worse. There's nothing wrong with the kid wanting nothing to do with the parents. The kid owes the parents nothing. But when the parents don't want anything to do with the kid and won't support it, even if it's an adult, now that's messed up, and that shows how pathetic a human being that is. If you're gonna have a kid, at least support it for the rest of his fucking life if it asks you, because you're responsible for that shit, man. Gotta take responsibility. Humans just don't take responsibility for a lot of things. They really don't. Criminals don't take responsibility for fucking the pain they cause. Even women don't. A lot of women take zero accountability or responsibility for how sex happens, and just how sex happens, because they're unconscious about it, because they get sex so easily, they don't think about it. They have zero responsibility for like how sex happens, because they don't need to think about it. I don't know, I'm just rambling a little bit. It's just human psychology. I don't know. But I'm gonna end this video now. The key takeaway from this video: don't reproduce somebody else to eventually die, because as soon as you fucking nut in the female, you're making a corpse. You're not making a life, you're making a death. That's what you're making. Inevitable death. If they're born, then that's an inevitable death. Inevitable. That you can't escape it. Their fate is inescapable. And they could experience so much pain and suffering and struggle and misery and despair and depression before they even die. What would you do if your kid killed themselves? Exactly. What would you do? What the fuck would you do? Or if they was murdered? You gotta fucking think about that before you have a kid, if you're listening to this and that's what you're thinking. So peace.